I didn't know it was going to match with the cover. Anyways, it's been about a week and a half since I've read Volume 7 of Attack on Titan. And so I do have to go through it, of course, once again. But I sort of enjoy doing that because it reminds me of the things I can talk about while I start rolling into it. So without further ado, we're looking at a volume with 4 chapters. So these are going to be chunky chapters for sure. We've got, of course, our roll call here, including the captains and, of course, Marco. Crossed off. Poor Marco, rest in peace. This is the perimeter squads that they're on the edge of the outskirts of the Titan Forest or Titan Woods. I'm sorry, I forget the exact name of it. Anyways, this chapter is chapter 27 called Erwin Smith. I mean, I almost feel like I do need to reread. They're basically given orders to not do anything. They're just supposed to hang out and whatnot. And they're commenting on having heard the bombs going off in the center of the woods, which is, of course, the cannons that shot those wires to ground the female Titan. And them not knowing that, not even remembering seeing the cannons. Of course not. They were, I guess, inside the barrels, and they were probably intentionally so that people wouldn't have speculated on the plan along the way. We do have a let's move Armin. Bastard looks like it's figured it out, and that's where it starts talking about one of the Titans learning how to climb, or at least being decent enough at it that it's actually going to become a threat with them up in the trees. So they jump to a different set of trees, and we do have suspicious Jean, of course, trying to putting the pieces together that make him suspicious about things, putting one and one together, realizing we lured the female Titan here so that we could capture it, I bet. And then he goes on to say, but does that mean there are humans in our ranks who are trying to destroy the walls? Pretty much. That is what it means. Yes, I think so, Armin says. I think the commander is certain of that. And then we have a flashback of our Eren Titan. Eren's existence suggests that humans may be controlling the Titans. So if we assume that the Titans trying to destroy the walls are humans, and that they're inside the walls, then the first thing we must do is identify them to prevent any further damage to the walls. Furthermore, if we could capture them, we might expect to gain the information that the Survey Corps has longed for, the truth behind this world. Armin, truth behind the world, and of course him being the one that brought the tome to us, the guide, the book, the large book that talked about all the other places in this world, the illegal book. So thematically, very cool, very nice. Speculating why the Titans themselves didn't keep going to destroy Wall Maria after taking out Wall Rose. Sorry, I got that backwards. They destroyed Wall Maria. Why didn't they go and destroy Wall Rose? Yeah, they stopped for a reason. They did. This is Armin. This is really weirdly written or translated. They did nothing when the gate they had gone to so much trouble to destroy was repaired. Yes, that was the sentence. Perhaps something diverted their attention. Something else that happened in the time. Something more important than destroying the wall. It was, of course, Eren throwing them all off. Killed up to 20 of them, I believe was the quote, and causing a ruckus. And then John says, one of the people who knew about Eren's transformation at the time is a spy, which means, in theory, everyone that we would know, I mean, everyone certainly on that spread is a potential spy. Now we can remove Jean and Armin, right? They're talking about it, so it's likely not them. But we can go down the list and, make some speculations. Ooh, no, I'm doing some damage to my manga. I don't know if people care about that stuff, but does that make you hurt inside a little bit? It does me. I can see the white of the spine. It looks like the entire cover is about to pop right off of this manga. I've only read it once. This is the second time I'm going through it. Now, anyways, the people who were watching, so anyone in that scene on the rooftops after that the tower thing takeover, I mean, technically they all were told about it too. Like, they spread the word, and then the soldiers themselves would have known. So I mean, everyone would have known. Oh, but they stopped. The point they're making is that, but they stopped. So, someone's controlling the Titans from the inside somehow. Interesting. Even if we don't know who the spy is, shouldn't at least a few more soldiers have been told about this operation? There had to be some who wouldn't have died if they'd known that the Titan was intelligent. Yeah, but then it's like you might not have done this setup to pull off this trap, Now, we're in a bit of a dark spread there, which sometimes is a flashback. They have more of the lines across the gray, but like that corner right there, you can't really see it in that screen, I think, because of the way video gets recorded. But because this forest is so dark and covered in bark and trees, the texture of the panels, it sort of all looks like a flashback, although it's not. If you read, you can tell. So now we're switching back to Squad Levi, and we have Eren saying, how could they keep even seasoned veterans of the Corps in the dark? Shut up, would ya? And that's, of course, what's his name? Damn it. Oluo. Shut up, would ya? Then we have Petra saying, what are you trying to say? That the commander and the captain don't trust us? No, but that's what it amounts to. Petra, rip out that guy's teeth, then shove them back in backwards. And then Gunther. But think about it. That trap wouldn't have worked without quite a few people knowing about it beforehand. I think the only ones who knew were the survivors from 5 years ago, which we have in that flashback panel right there. I like to think that. I get it. Yeah. That has to be it. See, Aaron? That's what it is. Right. They had to do it that way. Sort of just like blindly following orders again and just accepting that there's a plan behind things. And this chapter is called Erwin. So, I mean, Erwin's got this master plan and he uses people like pawns and pieces in order to make his plan work out. And they just become expendable pieces on the board, especially when we're talking about the Survey Corps. Like they sign up for that 90% death ratio, I guess. Yikes. For the greater good. He's like a master calculus of war commander. He has to make very hard decisions and they involve lives. Petra goes on to say they must have assumed that the spy started working on the inside when the wall was destroyed 5 years ago. So the commander narrowed down the suspects to anyone who joined after that. Is there really a spy, Aaron asks? I wonder if that's who killed Sonny and Bean. Oh, that's when the commander asked me the question. Yep, that's probably very possible. Oh man, this guy. Oluo saying that, well, he already knew. He's just not saying it. Because, and the other ones don't know because they're not as good as him, of course, and Aaron just wants to shut up. But I mean, part of me is like, I don't know, did he? Because he's got a lot of kills under his belt, so not that that really means anything, but Aaron's thinking, you still trying to imitate the captain? I'll be amazed if this succeeds, because Captain Levi doesn't talk like that. But even if that was the purpose, too many people died. So going back to, was it worth it though? Like keeping so many people in the dark that people have to die in order for these plans to work out, and what if the plan doesn't work out? Well, now you've just created that scenario where people die for nothing because there's no gain of it. Anyways, the Titan was learning how to climb, but wasn't able to maintain the skill set required to stay climbing. He landed on his ass, but they just kind of watch it nonchalantly, like they just don't care. I'm taking a long time rereading this. I'm legitimately just rereading because a week and a half, man, and I've missed just enough of those small details that are kind of neat. Shit, I knew this was gonna happen. I mean, Armin and Jean have an exchange here, which I suppose has some value because of the meaning behind the words that Armin is kind of trying to convey here. I remember reading this the first time, and I'm not sure how I feel about it, so we're going to go through it together here. So Jean says, what do you mean? He was right. How many soldiers do you think died for nothing? And this is Armin. Jean, anybody can make a choice after finding out the results. It's easy to wait and see. They should have done this. That's hindsight. He's talking about hindsight. There's better ways that you could write this and make it flow better. I felt like I tripped up quite a bit the first time, and I'm tripping up the second time too. And Armin continues, but you can't know what the results will be before making the choice. What's that Titan's identity? How many of them are there? What can they do? What do they know? What have they found out? We don't know. As always, there's so much we just don't know. But the flow of time won't stop for us. The time to make a choice always comes, even when we don't know the outcome. Anyways, I've heard the phrase outcome accountability. I think it's useful and correct. And no matter how good the results are, it doesn't erase the senseless death of those soldiers. And then back to Armin. The commander may be a cruel, even evil man, but I think that's good. Armin, I'm not sure you're making too much sense here for Jean. Even if it puts his comrades' lives in danger, he has to envision every possible development and make a choice between the lives of 100 of us and those of humanity behind the walls. He had to choose, and he chose to write off those 100 lives. I don't think this is sounding as epic and noble and good as you think it's sounding, Armin. I mean, maybe it's just in the translation. I understand what it's trying to say, which would be correct. It's also, I've heard it called the calculus of war, right? It's like also known as that philosophy of like the train is coming, 2 tracks, you got your hand on the handle, you can flip, right? And there's like option A and option B, right? And you sort of have to make a decision, right? Do you kill one for the many? Yes, I mean the easy option. But then there are a bunch of variables that could make that thought experiment go completely haywire, Now this is where it gets weird because we're in 2 different places right now, and the panels are flipping between different parts of this forest, and groups of people that are talking to each other. But when they're all on the same page like this, you start to feel like they're all talking to each other, but I like, unless I'm crazy, but Armin's not there. Armin is with Jean right now at the edge of the town, edge of the forest, whereas Squad Levi is together, and they're closer to the center right now where the trap went off. So, Aaron, you don't know it yet, but you'll probably find out soon why Erwin Smith leads the Hope of Humankind, the Survey Corps. I'm sure Captain Levi trusts you enough to tell you. That's if you live long enough. And then back to Armin. I haven't lived an especially long life, but there's one thing I'm sure of. The people capable of changing things are the ones who can throw away everything dear to them. Again, there's an easier way to say that. It can sacrifice it all. When forced to face down monsters, they can even leave behind their humanity. What? Who are you talking about right now? Someone who can throw away, because this is a weird panel switch here, but because he continues, someone who can't throw anything away will never be able to change anything. And we go to the female Titan when he's saying that. Someone who can't throw anything away will never be able to change anything. Hey Mangaka, why did you switch to that panel? Then we flip the page. We have female Titan in the trap, and this is where things are going to get wild real quick, real fast. We got Hong here, which I believe I was told is pronounced Hanji. Right there. We got Hanji, excited. How about that? Now you won't even be able to scratch yourself if you got an itch. Not a single muscle of yours will ever move again, probably. Here's how it works. The more your wounds close up, the more rigid your joints become. But it seems that's still not enough to get the one inside of you to come out. What are Levi and Mike doing? I've seen, like, it's spelled Mike, but I've seen in the comments Micah. So we have them coming in to try to dicey get the person out, but of course blades start breaking because it gets armored up. We have Erwin talking here. Looks like she can overlay part of her body with a tough layer of skin, a characteristic that closely resembles the so-called armor titan. See, I didn't catch any of that detail when the armor titan was actually in the plot. I knew it was called the armor titan, and I didn't understand why people were calling it the armor titan, and because I don't think it ever got explained to us that the skin of this titan was getting armor hard, stone metal hard. I'm not sure. It's breaking blades though, but in any case, it looks like it's a tactic that isn't limited to a type of titan. That's sort of frightening, because if these skill sets can start getting picked up and replicated by other titans, that's terrifying to some degree, and also sort of exciting for our rogue titan, right? Because it could be like level ups, kind of like as you get more control of this body that they're controlling, that they're piloting, I suppose, they maybe unlock different things that come from other titans. But like, the better you are, the more of these abilities you get to pull into one titan. It'd be crazy. Yeah, it's definitely, because it wouldn't be considered an armor titan, right? It could just be like a thing that they can do. I don't know. I don't think the classification would be just for like one titan. It'd be like a couple titans probably have this ability, that kind of thing. But unlike the armor titan, it seems she can't maintain that toughness. Will she weaken if we keep attacking her with vertical maneuvering gear and swords? There's no time to test it. Therefore, yes sir, set a charge and blow off the target's hands. Yes sir. But there's a chance that the force of the blast will also blow up the person inside. In that case, try placing the explosives farther back so that they sever her wrists. Then, at my signal, detonate all of the charges simultaneously. Hey, why not give us a break and just come out of there? We don't have all day. Levi is... I'm always switching the way I pronounce his name. Anyways, Levi going up to the pilot's pinnacle to try to coax the person out, because they are absolutely hopeless in there at this point. There's literally a needle thing in her friggin' pupil. Man. Oh, God. What do you think is going to happen? Do you believe you can find a way out of this situation? Think about the trouble you're causing. Now, we have to keep thinking of ways to drag you out of there. You've murdered my subordinates in lots of ways, haven't you? Did you enjoy it? Well, now I'm enjoying this. But then, so are you, right? You can understand what I'm saying, can't you? All right. There's one thing I want to ask you. Could we cut off your limbs? They grow back, right? I'm talking about your real body. I'd get in trouble if you died, you see. And I'm not exactly sure what noise she makes there, but she seems to acknowledge that as like a bad idea. And I think maybe the needle, the eye thing pops out of her eye. I'm not sure. Look, then she screams. This is a terrifying moment. She screams. She knows she's probably not coming out of this, and so chaos ensues. The entire Titan forest, the echoes of her screams scatter through the woods, the branches of the trees, all the way to the edge where the other Survey Corps hear it. And Erwin says, an emotional cry? If it was, does that mean she's given up? Or did she have a reason? Well, she certainly did, as we're all about to find out. There's a lot coming from all directions at the same time. Stampede of Titans! So Al rushing through the forest at once, and of course, engage command. Everyone goes nuts. Are they abnormals? Who cares? Don't let them go. So everyone activate, trying to take them all out. We got Mikasa and Sasha talking about this. I've heard that scream before, back in the forest. You mean your hometown, Sasha? It's exactly the same. It's the scream a cornered animal makes when it's given up. Whoop, 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 whoop. So you're saying be careful? Please 100 times than usual. Now there's an interesting comment here made by Mikasa. I'm not sure if it's gonna like maybe inform her character as we go through this about Sasha. Actually, Sasha's instincts are usually correct, even if only when she has a bad feeling. Danger sense? I'm not sure, because I mean that's sort of like I'm not sure that's like it can be expanded upon at much greater detail, but they dedicate a whole page to make that point, and I'm not sure if it was just a throwaway point or not. It's worth keeping logged to find out where it goes. Transport squad, intercept, destroy. Basically, it's just chaos, chaos, chaos. They don't even give a damn. Like Survey Corps swinging by them, taking them out, and they don't stop the fight and intercept or block. They just keep moving forward. And of course we have Levi here standing on the female Titan, just kind of waiting for this to go down, and he's got to take action. So he swings, zips in a Z formation, takes off, I guess takes out 3 Titans on his way out of there. And as soon as he's out of there, well, lo and behold, Titans in all directions, all squads commence attack, defend the female Titan to the death. But of course we have ourselves a problem, because I love that it's just like raining squad members here. Landing on this is like they're going to be decimating them, because they don't give a damn. They're just chomping down at the female Titan, just taking out chunks of flesh while they're getting decapitated, or like the neck severed. And then it's just basically Erwin just makes the call, and he knows like he's seen the big picture, and he's like didn't see that one coming. All squads pull back. Hey Erwin, she got us. Why the hell are you smiling? The enemy was prepared to give up everything. I never thought she would have the Titan eat her to erase all information. And then we got the end of the chapter. So the theme of this first chapter is very clear, right? It's the trust angle still ropes into the flow of this chapter, but we have Armin in one direction, sort of talking about the idea of like self-sacrifice for the things you believe in, and that's kind of what gives you the power and to kind of make tough decisions, I suppose. And then we have Squad Levi saying, trust is important, and we have to trust in the orders that come from above, because we wouldn't have been able to pull this off if there wasn't like tough decisions being made and sacrifices being required along the way. And then we have the flip back to Levi and Erwin, and this whole everything kind of going sideways and upside down. And Erwin, I mean, he's definitely disappointed right there. He's definitely like, oh goddamn, didn't see that coming. But why is he smiling as Levi asks him? The enemy was prepared to give up everything. And so it does a mirror comment back to what was said for the squad to commit the way they commit, is because they have to be willing to give up everything. Or Erwin, being the commander that he is that he has to give up everything. So is he smiling because he's like, damn, this is like someone with the tenacity to be able to give up everything, which makes him maybe an elevated opponent for him to take out. And so I don't know, makes him a challenge. I don't really see him that way though, that he sees this as like a challenge, and like the sacrifices of men and women are worth the fact that this is a worthy challenge, for Erwin. I don't think that's what's going on here. I really do think they're looking for a win. I'm not entirely sure what that smile was supposed to represent. And then we have the opening chapter there, and the Titans already starting to evaporate. All troops pull out. Get to your horses while the Titans are focused on her remains. We're leaving all of the wagons behind. Gather west of the Titan forest and get back in formation. We're returning to Caraness district. I believe that was was it the western side? It was on one of the sides. There's a city beyond the balls, or it was something. Anyways, after all my bluster in front of the council, this is what happens. Heavy losses and nothing useful gained. What will happen to us and Aaron when we stroll back through the gate? Levi asks. And Erwin responds, think about that after we're home. Right now, we have to concentrate on retreating without further casualties. So he does care about people, right? At least for now. But then he also acknowledges that he might have to make some more decisions in order to take the next steps, He will if he has to. So Levi says, I'm going to call my squad over. I just hope they haven't gone too far. Levi, wait. Replenish your gas and blades. There's no time. And I have plenty already, so why? That's an order. Follow it. doesn't explain himself. Erwin does not explain himself. And Levi pauses. Yes, sir. Erwin, I'm going to trust your judgment. So we're going back to the trust theme. Don't ask questions. Follow orders. There's a bigger plan. We'll see where it goes. So there's a withdraw command on the outskirts. And everyone sort of freaking out. A lot of noise. We got Squad Levi here having a banter with one another. It's pretty difficult making the right choice. Hey, quit pampering the kid, Petra. Really, why the hell did he do it? Other than moan and groan the whole time. He didn't do anything on the mission except serve as bait. This is Uluo. Although I guess surviving your first time out can be considered a success. Of course, I can't give you that until the mission's actually over. Got it, kid? The expedition ain't done till you're safe and sound at home. Okay, I get it already. And then there's a page dedicated to, I seem to recall you pissing your pants on your first, well, no, I didn't piss it. So there's all that. There's a bit of comedy thrown in to kind of maybe just like some levity and the tension going on here as they're fleeing, which is kind of weird at this time, but it's okay. I guess just a little break. And then we have a scene with Erwin and Hanji. Why did you make Levi resupply? We're in a hurry. It's because I remember something you deduced. When the Colossal Titan disappeared, no one saw what was inside. You theorized that inside was someone who had been equipped with vertical maneuvering gear, who made a quick getaway using the steam as cover. Clever. But remember, I finally concluded that was impossible based upon the state that Eren was in when he emerged from the Titan. His equipment was damaged, and even his uniform was gone. Worst of all, Eren was so exhausted that he couldn't even stand. That female Titan had the ability to draw Titans to her with a scream. The mission failed because we couldn't predict that. But we need to be able to make those leaps of imagination if we're going to outsmart the enemy. If the Titan power has levels of skill, then it's a mistake to think of Eren, a beginner, as the benchmark. That's what I'm saying. They might skill up, man. They might be able to learn these powers. So back to your hypothesis. If the enemy was able to escape under cover of the steam and had the same equipment that we do, Captain Levi, who are you? Then they could blend in with the soldiers. Yep. But there's an interception. Blend in with the soldiers, and as they're doing an interception here, guess what? Gunther. That didn't go so well. That's not Gunther. Is that Gunther? I thought Gunther was like a blonde guy with a goatee. He is. He's a blonde guy with a goatee. That's not Gunther. That's someone else. So wait, did something happen to Gunther? Gunther banged into a tree. I'm not sure if that was I think I read this the first time and I thought it was Gunther in the bottom with the question marks, Gunther. So he knocks his head up against the tree. What? Hey, what? And then that. And it's like the back of the neck is sliced. As if this person was a Titan. Kid was killed like a Titan? I'm not sure. And then we got Eren, don't stop. Keep moving. Who are you? Protect Eren. They're attacking with maneuvering gear. Gunther! I think it might have been Gunther, but it didn't look like Gunther. Shit, what do we do? Eld, where do we go? We don't have time. We don't have time to get the horses. Head to command at full speed, or to any friendly forces. Is that the female Titan rider? It's the first time I heard it as a rider. So the pilot, I suppose. It's in quotes there, so I don't know if it's official. But that's what it's called right now, from Petra. Or are there more of them? God damn you. How dare you? Come on. At the very least, we'll go down together. The female Titan, it can't be. How? I thought it was captured, so Eren's got the memory of what he saw, but he doesn't have the context of what happened here. He's not putting the pieces together with the scream. How could they? Until they find out that that's what happened, right? If the enemy has a way to conserve strength, it's possible another Titan will appear. I was right. Here it comes. The female Titan. So whoever that was, it was. So they did escape, and that tactic worked. Damn you, this time I'm killing that thing. You can't. And then here she comes as they retreat. Now, of course, they don't have horses, so they can't move faster than the Titan, and we've learned that they need their horses in order to move faster than the Titan. Although this Titan, when it was rested, at the beginning it could catch up, I believe. It was catching up. But then when it's tired, it was the horses were able to catch up to it. But right now, they just got their maneuvering gear. That's not a good sign. We must be prepared to lose everything and fight. I will take whatever risks are necessary. I'll fight too, Eren says. No, this is the best way. It's too risky to use your power. What's wrong, asshole? Do you doubt our abilities? Hi. Do you, Eren? Do you you really have so little faith in us? Petra says. Ulolo's stepping in. Everyone's kind of calling him out. And if we don't fight, humanity can't win. So that page right there is sort of depressing on a second read. I believe my squad will be victorious. Fight well, everyone. And Aaron's just gonna, he's gonna peace out, because that's what that's what they've been drilling into him. That he has to trust everyone. That he has to trust their skill and their command and their order of command, and he's just got to follow the orders and what. Man, but anyways, the fight goes down and it's pretty brutal. And I believe this starts to go very rapid at this point. A lot of activity, a lot of swinging, a lot of attempts. These are very expert fighters here. They do a double team into her face and counter her eyes. So there's some unspoken strategy. I still remember that. There's that dialogue right there that confirms it. That let me read that again. We blinded it. It should be in the dark for a full minute. We'll stop it by then. To hell with capturing it. I'll kill it. Die a miserable death. Take what's coming to you. And she protects, of course, the pilot spot. Of course, it's waiting for its eyes to grow back. But we don't intend to wait till then. And who is that, Gunther? Who is that? Yes, Gunther. He swings in. He's going to go for it. Slices at the armpit so that the arms themselves can't protect the Titan. Because that's their next way in. Is well, if she's going to keep holding her arms there and she's trying to, she's got other stuff to heal, if they just start chopping away at the arms, maybe the arms will go limp. And they do. The arms go limp. Bam. So now they have an opening to the back of the neck. If we cut the muscles that support the head, we can get at the nape. And then Aaron's looking back at the fight going down. It's way back there in the distance. He's getting some range there. And he's thinking, I'm sure it's only possible because they trust one another. That's how they're able to overcome so many crises. It's not written crises. It's written crisis. But it's weird. Okay. And that's why they're still this strong, even right after losing Gunther. Oh, Gunther did bite it. Shit. Wait, who the hell is the guy with the goatee? Is it Eld? Oh, it's Eld. Oh, I had the wrong person. Where's Gunther? Where's Gunther look? Oh, yeah. Okay, Gunther's a short hair. The goatee dude is Eld. I was getting them mixed up. That wasn't my bad. They don't even look the same. My brain was just, okay, whatever, I tripped up. Okay, I'll keep moving forward without looking back because I have faith in them. That's the right thing to do. I finally understand. I don't know. I finally understand. I don't know. With the shot at his back. It was very, that's telling to some degree. I never have. Whether you trust in your own strength or trust in the choices made by reliable comrades, no one knows what the outcome will be. This is of course, a mirror pattern in the language and the dialogue that goes back to the previous chapter with Erwin. This is all the same themes still going on here. Different characters, but still same theme. This was a nasty. God damn, that was nasty. Pause and take a look if you want, but that's all that happened there. One eye came back, and that was just enough to go nump. That's just terrible. Yeah, and that was our buddy Eld. I kind of liked Eld, even though there was no real screen time to really, but I felt like I would have liked him. That's all. But now there's no more Eld, and then there's Tua. Why did I have to do that? Why? Stop. There's no way. Oh, geez. So yeah, basically, put all the regeneration power from both eyes into one eye so that she could get the one eye back, even though the one eye is gone. But she got a full eye in 30 seconds, that kind of thing. So that's kind of what threw them off. It was another tactic they hadn't perceived, they hadn't imagined being a possibility. And here it is. Female Titan changing the game on everyone. So just one eye. Okay, Petra, get up higher. Petra now. Yep. Nope. She does a jumping leap forward, front kick, smash into the tree trunk, and Petra is now a pancake. And then we have Ulo holding his own, because of course he's the one with the major kills behind his belt. Kind of going in there. How the blade won't go through, so he can't get a slice in there, and he gets a wind up kick, the spinal column, and that's pretty much an end for Ulo, I'm sure. So as much as you can, choose whatever you'll regret least. The flashback of Levi telling him, basically do whatever you're going to regret less. He bites himself after giving goal, damage, and then I made the wrong choice. And that's pretty bad. I wanted to believe in my comrades, and because of that, they all died. It's a pretty rough way to put it, but it's true, but it's not his fault. He trusted them, and they should have been good enough. They just weren't. Against the female Titan. They just weren't. If I had believed in myself from the very beginning and fought, if I had only beaten this thing to a pulp from the beginning, because, this goes back to the whole first chapter, which is, you never quite know. You don't know what you don't know. This is how we put it at work, right? It's like you don't know what you don't know. And so when you're trying to like get people to do something, and then a month, 2 months later, you're like, how did this screw up? Like, we had so many people on this project. How did this screw up? Well, it's because people were moving forward with the wrong information. And then it's like, well, how do they have the wrong information? Because they had the wrong information. like, how do you really fix that? Because there was no way to get the right information until the wrong information made you realize the information you needed, so that you could make the better decision with the new information. But you wish you could have had that new information, but you didn't. That's why we got to 2 months in, and and there's a failure afoot. It's no one's fault, really. It's that people were moving with the information they had, and sometimes that leads to not blind confidence, but you do have a certain faith in the people around you that they know what they know. But that's the point, right? But they didn't know what they didn't know, so they can't know what they know until they know what they didn't know. And then you make decisions based on that. And that's how these kinds of things happen. And so he can regret that all day, but he really shouldn't, because there's nothing he could have done about it. So he turns, and now we have 2-page fight spreads coming our way here. We have Titan on Titan action. He punches her so hard, if I recall correctly, that he blows up his fists again. And this is not the first time he does it. He seems to have no control over how much effort and force he puts behind his swings, because he keeps on wrecking himself. That's how eager he is, with how much force he pushes behind like his swings, that he's not really fighting with strategy. He's fighting with brute force. It's pure. It's not even, I don't even know if it's like instinct per se. It's like he's got the goal to do the thing, and he's going to do it at the most extreme way possible. It's sort of, maybe it's like because he has to control this thing in a better way so that he can hold back a little bit so he doesn't decimate his hands, and then he has to go through recharge time, right? Because that sort of delays him and puts him in a compromised position as well. I think he's still swinging though. He's still swinging. He can still punch with bones, with hard bones. But anyways, it doesn't position him in the best way, So he should probably get a handle on that crap, So we got back then, if I had fought with the others. So this is him remembering that he's like bounced and then let them kind of hold the fort. Not the wrong decision. It's just, it ended up being the wrong decision because you didn't know what you didn't know. Before that, if I had fought then, and this is when he was having that exchange with Levi, who said, do what you'll least regret. He's going through the stages now of like the points where he could have just done whatever he wanted to do instead. We'll come around. We're only halfway. We're just past the halfway mark here. When Captain Levi was with us, I know we would have won. We might have even been able to capture it. See, might have won, but might not have captured it, because you don't know what you don't know. But Eren being kind of a wild card when he's in Titan form and just swinging to the point where he blows up his fists against faces. Like he's probably going to accidentally kill the thing because he's not in control of capturing it. So how do you capture it if you're not in control of yourself when you're in these moments? He doesn't know what he doesn't know, right? And so he's talking on conjecture. He's inventing these scenarios that aren't true. Like true is only what happens. True isn't what you think. And so anyways, that was a weird way to put it, but I stand by it. We have Eren, you're not wrong. If you want to do it, go ahead. Now, why Levi says that at that moment, it does sort of stick. It becomes a sticky moment because this went so bad, because now Levi's lost his entire squad too, because like Levi's going to have some regrets too, because he just follows orders blindly as well, right? So it's going to be sticky. It's going to be a sticky moment that's going to come back, I'm sure. Anyways, and then it goes, I made this choice. That's correct. You're only making, it's only the present, the now. And everyone died because of it, because of me, everyone. But really, it's your fault. That's right. So he's turning his attention on the one whose actual fault it is, the one who's killed everyone. He's gonna like tear her apart with his teeth if he has to. We have Mikasa, the scream. She recognizes the scream. She probably remembers it back from the city days. That voice, don't tell me. What? Huh? Hey, where are you going? Mikasa, come back. This way. And then, I'm going to tear you apart. As soon as these hands heal, I'll rip you up, crush you to a pulp, break you into little pieces, and eat you. So, Eren going into Titan killer mode. That's just creepy. That's a nasty. Seeing the pilot all hooked up like that, like an HG Giger. Kind of the Jesus. Anyways, so he goes for it. She does do a grab. She does a flipperoonie, a strategic flipperoonie, very tactfully done. And then we have like a Titan on Titan hand-to-hand combat, which of course should be reminding us of a moment in the past. That's what I'm saying. This was the moment I was waiting for. That would have been the confirmation for me. Now, it's not an explicit confirmation, but it is a visual and a conceptual one that should be giving away who the person is that's piloting the female Titan, right? It would be probably this one. It's the weight, the smaller, the flipperoonie, the body weight thing thing. You know what I'm saying? So flips him away. Goddamn, he comes swinging. This is a whole different beast right here. He comes swinging, and she does a rolling. She's just more agile or more skilled because she has more training under her belt. She's able to maintain that training in this form, which is actually the fascinating part. Anyways, there's still more roly-poly action. This is a great shot. Jeez Louise, look at that. I mean, Aaron's just vicious, like he's in vicious mode. Look at this double page spread, baby. Woo! That's some good stuff right there, man. The violence in that swing and the line work and the action. Look at the what's it called, the perspective on the legs there, like just oh man, to really demonstrate the size of these things, you know. Swing. Can you imagine watching these things in battle? That'd be insane. I mean, just like ravage. He's going in with a mouth. He's not really landing hits though. You know what I mean? Like if he landed these hits, it'd be a problem. But he doesn't always land them. But when he does, bam, 4, Jesus, home run, baby. And yeah, still going. Still, this is where we're gonna start ripping through the last half of this because this just gets crazy. This is just Titan action. I can't imagine what the anime would have animated this to look like. That would be fascinating to watch this one eventually one day. And then we have Aaron sort of coming to with an I'm not sure. Oh my god, wait, how did this? Oh shit, this one threw me off the first time and it threw me off the second time because I didn't remember how this went down because I didn't see the continuity of how it went down. I think it starts here in this panel because her arm is sort of off panel there, but you're like, I mean, you don't really know what she's doing. But then we just like, it's like he knows what's coming. We don't really see it even here because, well, we don't see it. We just see his face ripping off, right? We're like, what ripped off his face? Which, of course, you know, you flip the page again, and it looks like she picked up a tree or ripped off a tree, which has all these, like, broken branches on it that look like massive thorns or something. It looks like a spiked club. And then she basically clubs off Aaron's head. That's what happens. That's what happens. And then she goes, nah, I'm hungry. Look at that double pager. Nah. That's nasty. And then yankaroonies. I spoil this for everyone, but you shouldn't be here if you're worried about spoilers because we're doing this together or you've already done this. And then Mikasa coming in, Aaron. And then so she witnesses it, which of course from a reader's perspective, we need a character to be a witness to these things so that we can still have the narrative told to us, because we're obviously not just going to follow a female Titan in the story. We got to follow our protagonists through the story. So Nam Nam, Champeruni, and Earl, Gulpers. I'm not sure it was a Gulpers. It was more like I'm gonna save this for later. And then she's like, Aaron, don't go. And then the chapter ends, which is of course a bit of a cliffhanger, but we still got some parts to kind of close this volume off. And it started with the whole Irwin chapter, and here's this massive plan we have, and of course this is the only way it could have gone right, and we all have to trust each other, and we got to make this work. And then holy shit, everything's going to shit. And then the last chapter is going to be from the Levi perspective, basically, you know, one by one, Gunther, Eld, kind of Ulo, Petra, seeing them all wrecked. Wait, where's Petra? I'm pretty sure they all got wrecked. Yeah, we got Gunther, we got Eld. Yeah, Petra's up against a tree there, right? Yeah, episode 30, losers. But I mean, he's on the mission now because she's fleeing. She's got Aaron in her mouth. Stop it. Give him back. So Mikasa's coming in. She's definitely not going to be following orders. Who gave her any orders? She's going to slice and dice this thing and try to kill it. But of course it's protecting its neck, etc., etc. She finds out, I mean, the blade will just break. I mean, everyone's blades just break. They don't just like not cut through. They shatter metal. Like, is this supposed to be like special metal or something like that? I remember like reading something maybe at some point. These are special metal blades, man. They're not supposed to break like this, man. And so why? My blade won't go through. I know. He's alive. Aaron has to be alive. No matter where she goes, I'll kill her, slice her up, slice up her body, and drag you out of there, that filthy place. I'm sorry, Aaron. Just hold on a little longer. I mean, she's seen it before. She's seen him grow out of something's stomach. Like, he's fine. If he got swallowed, he'll be fine. And also, he regenerates like a sumbitch. So, I mean, he should be fine. And she gets intercepted. Levi grabs her, stops her. I'm with you, but back off for now. So he is like the seasoned warrior here. Like, he can at least give some advice to the strongest of the crew, right? She is like, Mikasa's got the skills for it, but if you deplete yourself, you're not going to help anybody. And so it's not going to go anywhere. So we'll maintain this distance. Is it exhausted? Is it exhausted too? Doesn't look like it's moving very fast. Looks like she bit the whole neck out of Aaron's Titan body. Is he dead? Aaron's alive. I think our target is intelligent. Her objective is to kidnap Aaron. Dun, dun, dun. If she wanted to kill him, she could have just crushed him, but instead she put him in her mouth, and she's making a fighting retreat. The objective may have been to eat Eren. In that case, Eren would be in her stomach, probably dead. He's alive. I hope you're right. Mikasa. You listen to me. I know. I feel these things. I say this half jokingly, but the anime, legitimately, they had the one scene where when Eren first protects her in the alley or something like that, they do this like cut, this sequence of cuts that for me made it seem like they were bound to some degree. Although I just feel it was weird. I just, from an animation perspective, that's how I felt. I never really felt that in the comic per se. But then I get comments like this where she's like pretty adamant on, no, he's alive. And I don't think it's just Hope speaking. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. Wrapping that up. Okay, in the first place, if you've done a good job protecting Eren, called out. I remember you from court, Eren's friend, right? Ooh. I see. So it says no more. We'll focus on one objective. Give up on killing the female. Ooh, man. How many of our comrades has she murdered? As long as that Titan has the ability to harden its skin, killing it is impossible. Trust me. Yep, he would know. We'll bet everything on the chance that Eren is still alive, and we'll rescue him before that thing can clear the forest. I'll slash away at the Titan. You draw its attention. Hey, Mikasa, be a decoy. I mean, it's a valid tactic. I mean, he's gonna leave. If anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be Levi. And man, oh man, he goes in. He goes in swinging. He goes in swinging, all kinds of swinging. Now she also goes in swinging, and he almost gets wrecked here. But he is fast as hell. I believe that's a comment she might make or has made. Or the point is, he is a whirlwind of action, and it's almost like, I mean, she can't block all of them. I suppose is what this comes down to. Achilles tendons get sliced. She gets knocked on her ass. She's coming down. He's still going too fast. There it is. That's the comment. Too fast for her to harden her skin. There it is. She's just her nape, she's wide open. I can kill her. And then she goes for it. He's like, no, there's something else at stake. Please don't. Stop it. Man, I kind of like, I was forgetting like how all of this went down, which is what was throwing me off, because that art gets a little bit hard to see at this point. It gets a little bit, the strokes get broader, more aggressive, but it's also just, it becomes really difficult to see what is actually happening as these things go down. I remember flipping through these pages quite a few times because I was like, did he slice through her like cheeks? Like, how did he, like, I'm not sure, because I know he doesn't want her to go in, says no, but she's committing, she's going in, you know. And then it gets to this page, I'm like, but like, how does he stop her? So he comes in from the front, he dives, he swings in at her hand, or her hand comes up. See, I'm just having a hard time following the sequence here in the lower panels, and then you flip the page, and then it gets like, the art just gets insane. Like, I'm not entirely sure, but it gets to this panel here, and it looks like there's like blood spatters. Like, is it the back of the head gets cut, but then it's like the cheeks sort of explode, and then Eren spills out. So does he go through her mouth? He goes through her mouth behind Eren, like when he takes a gamble or something like that. I'm not sure, because her mouth definitely comes apart at the hinges. So I think maybe then, hey, we're getting out of here. So he picks him up, gone. She's happy. She's good. Yeah, okay, you got him. Let's go. He's okay, alive anyway. Dirty though. Forget about her. We're leaving. Don't lose sight of our objective unless satisfying your own desires overrides that. Look at that. We got your precious friend back, didn't we? And they bail out. But that look back right there. What is that? What are you looking at, Levi? What are you thinking, Levi? Curious and curiouser. And then he comes to in the back of a wagon as they're roaming on out of here. Mikasa tells him he shouldn't get up, of course. What happened to the female Titan, he asks. Eesh. And then how the others, the mission, we failed. Mikasa says bluntly. Now just lie still for a while. What is this? Did you save me again? He asks. Well, she wasn't only her who saved you, Eren. We're getting close to the wall, huh? Yeah. Bam. It's a big-ass wall. The Survey Corps is back. Oh, boy. Aren't there a lot fewer than went out this morning? Yeah, that's going to be bad. They made such a fuss going out this morning. And here they are, back in time for lunch. What do they even bother going out for? Judging by their pouty looks, they at least succeeded in throwing our taxes down the drain. Ungrateful bastards. And this is a little bit of a cool flashback here, because it kind of reminds you of the beginning of the volume 1 where Mikasa and Eren, at least Eren was excited to pull Mikasa to see the Survey Corps coming back. But now you kind of get it from this angle. Like, these kids very much look like they might be related to Kami. Am I remembering something incorrectly here? I feel like, I don't know. I don't think Kami comes into this, but I remember thinking like that. That feels like might be family there. Anyways, they're so cool. So this is the Survey Corps. No matter how badly they get beaten, they always keep fighting. The heroes are back. Come on, Mikasa. Here's a flashback. I actually thought that was my memory. I forgot the 1.5 week that I had actually seen this as a panel. I literally, when I talked about this in the last page, I literally envisioned this scene right here, and I thought it was from volume 1. when I made the comment. That's crazy how that works, huh? Anyways, they're not looking pleased about things. That's for sure. Captain Levi, sir, thank you for taking good care of my daughter. I'm Petra's father. Look at that. There's something I want to discuss with you before I find her. My daughter sent me this letter. She wrote that you're counting on her skill and that she's working directly under your command now. She says she intends to devote herself to you completely or something like that. Well, that was her pride talking, but she doesn't understand how worried that makes me. I mean, as her father, I think it's still too early to get her married up. She's still young after all, and who knows what's going to happen in the days ahead. Dark panel face. Levi, because your daughter's not coming home to get married to no one, ever. Enjoy your day, Pa. Commander Irwin, answer me. Did you accomplish anything to make up for all those casualties this time? Aren't you sorry for getting those soldiers killed? I'm not in frame. And then he's not feeling so good. Aaron's not feeling so good. The vast expenditure of resources and lives in the expedition beyond the wall dealt a serious blow to the Survey Corps, eroding their public and political support. Things are crumbling. Irwin and the other leaders were summoned to the royal capital. They were ordered to turn Aaron over to the military police. Continued in volume 8. A cover that didn't make it. He really likes to drop pinups of Mikasa. And we have a not official spread here of Armin getting a Peter Griffin ouchie in the shin. That scene? No one remembers 20 years ago? One moment of carelessness leads to hellish agony that seems like it will go on for an eternity. Does something lie beyond this torment? That is not an actual preview. Okay. Well, I recorded over an hour again. Didn't anticipate that happening. But I guess rereading something because you have a goldfish memory will do that to you. I will say, because I forgot to talk about the cover, and I feel like I need to now that I've called these out. This is a good design. Is the art right up there, like as a cover? Not really, because some of the smaller characters on here don't really stand out. And then her form here doesn't really, the art style itself is still a little weak, but the composition finally works like a cover for the most part. It's almost there still. This could be pushed, this could be blown up just pretend you're on an iPhone here. This could be blown up just a little bit and put Aaron's head more up here. Okay, so it creates a bit of a... God damn it, I can't do this backwards. Because it's got really good, framing device here with the... I went in the complete opposite direction. Because it's got a really good framing device here with these two branches, okay? And it's keeping the focus point is in here, which is great. Because it keeps the eyes where the adventure is going to be, the action, the thing that's supposed to hook you to kind of read the book. But this branch sort of this is just a nitpicky kind of thing, right? But the branch kind of leads you off the page. It'll take you off the page. And so what you want to do in a scenario like this, you either move the title over this way and you close this bracket off. You close it off so that you frame them. And so the eye does this thing instead of this thing. Whee! Okay? It's not important. Most people don't think about these kinds of things. But for me, it's my eye was oh, this is so cool. I'm gone. Because this is what I was trained to sort of how to critique things I looked at, my own art or other people's art. It's just part of the things we had to go through. And if I or the littler dudes in this, they don't really, they're valuable because it kind of tells you there's a bunch of little guys kind of in this fight as well, but they're not valuable. They're really not. I didn't even know they were there. Honestly, I didn't even get that far because wee is what I'm saying, right? Because this would have been a good one, the sword swing coming down would have led your eyes back into this framing device here. You have them direct the eye back into this framing device here, and then, and if you want, you can put the one in the corner here, but the problem is you have the volume number here, so it wouldn't matter because they'd be covered. Little art review at the end of this. I don't know how you all feel about that. Anyways, I just figured I would do that for my own sake. But and I think everything about what's happening between those two tree branches is actually really, really good. The composition is good. Almost there. I'm looking forward to the future covers to see with doing these art critiques to see how they evolve. I was going to do a tier list, and I do plan on doing this. But I do need to shrink these down somewhat because these are going to be enormous sized if I start adding a bunch of other stuff to these read-throughs, reviews, commentary. Enjoy a passive, just casual time with me, rereading it yourself while I'm going through it, flipping through the pages. If you have the volumes yourselves or you have the app or something like that, come along on the journey. I'm just kind of having these, I'm just doing these casually, enjoying myself along the way, and hopefully you're enjoying yourselves as well too. But I do want to sort of expand on this because things like this cover, even a cover design, has me thinking about man, I could do a tier list on just a cover design and see how that goes. But then I also want to do the one tied to the volumes. When I read 8, maybe is when I will think about doing a tier list for 8, because I can do this two ways. I can use the ones that are coming from the website, which have been called out for me, but I don't want to spoil myself. I can't be looking at other covers. That's my problem. And so I was going to do one where I could just use like a slide that would pop up on here. I would just like do a little pop up here. And so really you'd all see like, here are my top 8. And it's more like I will read one and go, does this one I read now, like if this is volume 8 or then volume 9 and then volume 15 and then volume 30, right? It's more like there'll be a top 8 of the volumes, and only those ones would ever show, because I would just go, and here's the updated volume. We'll have a little talk of my top 8. It could be top 10, but I guess I should make it a top 10. It makes no sense to make it 8, huh? It's because 8 in my head, I'm like 2 rows of 4. It would look like nice design, and because 8 is next, and it feels like a good number. Anyways, I could do 10. I could do 10, okay, and we'll figure it out. And this is relative to just the top 8. Or I can do a tier list, which would use the typical tier list kind of scenario out there. But again, I would be limited by having to either make one custom so that I'm bringing in my own cover art every time I read one, so I don't go ahead of the series. I don't want to see things ahead of the series. I've already forgotten what's in those other covers back there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to see those. But I think that would be fun. So I can do maybe a top 8 or a top 10 as we go, but then maybe at the end of the entire series, I can do like a tier list. But I'm wondering like how much I'm going to remember if I wait until the end. That's going to be very hard to do, you know? And so if I do it on the fly, I might be able to like also jog my memory on the top 8 or 10. Okay, I wish I could have decided that before I recorded this vlog. It would help me kind of like at least contextualize what I just read against the top 8, which should be the ones that are the most surface memory. Does that make sense? And that hopefully that will then help me get to the end of the series and do like a macro tier list on all of the volumes in Attack on Titan and which volumes I think were stronger than the others, etc., and why. And that will be a massive vlog. But if I can get to the end of this, man, I would like to do it as kind of like a little bow, like a bow. I was literally going to say a bow on the cake, folks. It's getting late again. My allergies are acting up again. Every time I read manga, my nose itches like crazy. It's annoying as hell. Becomes an editing nightmare. So you know what's best I do right now? Just I'm going to wrap this one up, and I'll be able to hopefully record these more back to back so that things come to me a little bit more fluidly, because I know in my head like what I have to do to edit this. I'm at 1 hour and 20 minutes, so that you can look at the timer on your side and you can see how much chaos I've had to record through along the way. All right, so I'm going to wrap this one up. Thanks for showing up. Of course, as always, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you showing up and supporting these, because this has been a big project for me on the side that I'm really excited to kind of get through. Not just because I want to finish reading Attack on Titan, but because I want to record this kind of series. And as always, don't forget to explore, engage, and inspire, buddy. Peace.